And welcome live to the LV Home Experts podcast. My name is Chakits Krulsawat with Simply Vegas, your Las Vegas real estate agent, the host of the LV Home Experts podcast. This is where we talk about real estate and financing with your co-host, Dan French with Guarantee Rate. Guys, we're just going to jump right into it because we have so much to talk about with the Las Vegas housing market. What's going on, guys? How has been your day?
Good. Joey?
Awesome. Day's been good, man.
It's been a little bit hot today. The weather is kind of funky. This morning, we woke up to thunder and rain and lightning, right? And what happened? I think around like maybe 10 o'clock, everything just shut off. And it just started getting hot and humid out there. It's crazy weather. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know. I heard that thunder this morning. I swear to God, I thought my roof was caving in. It was so loud. But like immediately after the thunder, lightning strikes.
Yeah.
Like almost immediately, right?
Did you guys like feel that bass through the house? Like
yeah.
I could literally feel it through the house.
Yeah, it was shaking, but it was actually kind of nice.
It was actually.
It's like, oh, it's raining out. It's
Isn't
still
it
dark.
weird though? So it rains. You have, you had a lightning, you had thunder, and all of a sudden at like 10 o'clock, you see sunshine and rainbows. It's like nothing happened. It's like, dude, where we living?
Yeah, I could have swore at one point it was raining just over like my pool.
That was
it.
It's crazy. It's just the valley, and also the you look at just the desert and how that weather changes. Like, I'm from California. A lot of people from you're from Hawaii, but that weather stays consistent. It seems like if it's going to rain, typically it's going to rain. It kind of rains,
cycles through. Here
it's just like, man, some days it's like half the day you're getting just dark clouds and rain, and then the other half it's sunshine and people are out and they're doing their thing. It's
the
just
beauty
weird.
about living in
It's
Las
just
Vegas.
weird, man. It's just like, I couldn't believe it. But anyways, it woke me up, and I couldn't go back to sleep. It was like 6 a.m, and I usually sleep till about 6:30. But it woke me up, and I was just like, I guess I need to get up. I think that's my alarm.
That's it.
That's my alarm for
cue.
today.
Yeah, when I got up, I went outside, rolled up the garage door, and it was literally just raining like crazy. I had to use an umbrella to get to the car.
Yeah. That's when you're like, where's the umbrella? I know I have one somewhere.
Yeah.
You're like digging around in the
Do
garage.
you have an umbrella?
Yeah, I got an umbrella. Nice one.
I don't even have an umbrella.
I actually stole it from Toll Brothers.
Well, it's like this.
I was out in California, and it was raining, and they had like these big old umbrellas, and it was like really nice. And I was like, I think I'm just going to take it. And I just took it.
I think it's unique too because, like, for me, it doesn't. What do you think? It rains 3 or 4 days out of the year. You know what I mean? Maybe 5.
Yeah.
It's like I don't ever get an umbrella. Like I would, if I was in California or Hawaii, I would get an umbrella.
Yeah.
For me, I don't know.
Well,
Just
originally,
like to make a run for it.
Yeah, it's just. It's not going to be long anyways. It's a good 30 minutes and you're done. It's like, so what happens here?
well, Joey, you're from Florida, so I'm sure it rains all the time.
Yeah, every day in the summertime it rains.
Oh, does
like
it?
2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, like clockwork.
It must be humid like crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. God, I feel so bad for the folks out there right now. I still have, I have my mom out there, my sister out there, my aunt, and they're just getting pounded by that hurricane right now.
Where would you rather live? Hawaii not Hawaii, but you look at Florida and Miami area. Everybody loves Miami. The humidity.
Yeah.
Or here.
Here. 100% without question.
So you think humidity is that big of a deal?
It's terrible.
Really?
It's so bad.
Yeah, who wants to be
Like
sticky all day?
You go, like, if you want to go anywhere nice and it's, especially in the summertime and you take a shower, you put a long sleeve shirt on, pants like this, you're sweating within like milliseconds as soon as you walk outside, like completely drenched. When I sold real estate out there, my office was on Lincoln Road. It's a pedestrian road with shops and restaurants. And I would literally have like 3 or 4 shirts in my office because I'd go run out, show property, have to come back and change. Like I would pit, big circles, like boob sweat.
Boob sweat. I didn't know you had boobies.
Hell yeah.
So what's going on around the Las Vegas Valley? Have you guys seen anything? Any news? Anything going on that you guys are aware of?
Formula One's coming.
Which is pretty dope.
Yeah.
I think they're bringing in a lot of money. How much did they spend on that? I thought it was like, I heard it was $1 billion. I don't know if this is true or not.
Yeah.
They're dumping a lot of money into it. I'm sure they're going to recoup that money anyway, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. They're building that one facility right off of what is it? Right where ICE used to be. That
Okay.
nightclub.
Yeah, that's where Tupac got shot.
Yeah. So they bought that location. They're building a headquarters there.
Yeah.
And then I think it's October 24th. They're doing their launch party over at Caesars.
So is this something that they're going to be coming out here like to race like every year? It's like part of their circuit?
Yeah, I think it's going to be part of the circuit.
And you think they would have come out a lot. They were here before, but you'd think they would have that a lot sooner than where they are now. You know, I think Vegas is just the destination for everything. You know.
Well, do you guys watch Drive to Survive on Netflix?
No.
The best show. It's all based on Formula One and the teams.
Okay.
And that I think is what sparked the interest here in the U.S. I mean, there's always been interest in Formula One, but not like the craze that's going on right now.
It's more of a European thing, right?
Yeah.
But you know what's crazy about that? This is what I imagine. You are a race car driver, good looking dude. You have like the coolest, fastest car. And you're basically in a video game driving down the strip and racing. Think about this. Just like a real video game, dude. Just
it's crazy.
Yeah.
And those guys are young too. They're like in their 20s.
And I'm sure they started off driving like golf carts, right?
Yeah, well, go-karts.
Yeah, go-karts, golf carts.
This is how crazy this is, dude. November of next year is when this event's going to happen. And everybody's just all about it right now. It's already hyping on it, dude.
Yeah,
it's like
I'm on the VIP pre-sale list. So
man, you're always ahead of the curve on that.
Yeah, baby.
Dude, that's
you
crazy.
gotta be.
I bet so like for me, were you the Raiders too? You did the Raiders. Do you go to the Raiders games?
Yeah, I've season tickets.
Speaking of the Raiders, I wanted to bring up, so you said an event. We also have the Pro Bowl has been here. No, I think they canceled the game. It just wasn't bringing in revenue, struggling.
Oh, really? For a Pro Bowl, huh?
For a Pro Bowl.
Well, it's not as big, though, but that's like for super fans, right?
Yeah.
Pro Bowls?
Super fans, but they're going to do it with flag football, I guess. They're going to have some, I guess, some type of games where, you know how they did the combine? Mm-hmm. They're going to do like testing like that where it's like, you know, I'm not a big football person, but I don't really go to watch games too much. But what is it where they do like they test out like your, you know, how many times you can catch or something, or just, I don't know what it is, or how fast or how high you jump. I don't know what it is, but they're going to do some type of thing with. So going back to the Pro Bowl, they canceled it. So I don't know.
I don't know if I would go to the Pro Bowl.
See how much revenue it's going to bring in.
I've never been interested in it.
Also, I wanted to say that 2 weeks ago, I think the NBA, not the NBA, but the women's NBA.
WNBA?
Yeah. And I guess they won like the championship out here.
Yeah,
which is, I
congrats to them.
didn't even know we had a professional women's basketball team out here.
Yeah.
No, until it was in the news.
I mean, I don't watch sports like that either, but
I didn't realize
we had a team.
I didn't realize we had a team. I don't even know where they play. I mean, where do they play? Thomas Mack? I mean,
I don't know where they play.
Where do they play? I mean,
I think they play. They play at T-Mobile.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
have you ever been to a game?
WNBA?
Yeah.
No.
I would support it just because like people want support, right? And
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what it is. But it's not like saying I would never go watch it. It's just I don't know. I just didn't. I'm not into that.
Yeah,
they
typically have a really good turnout too.
Well, if you watch it on TV, I would say it's boring. But when you go to these live events, like I don't watch football, right? But also I want to say thanks for Joey. He gave me his tickets 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
Yeah. And this was the first time I ever went to a Raiders game, right? And the facilities were like unbelievable. Yep. The staff was really nice. Everything was clean. Everybody was cool. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it has to be. I've been to many stadiums and many events, and I have to say that hands down to the Raiders, best facility, like you said, best service. It's super clean. And it's actually one of the stadiums that you can actually walk around and you're not getting shuffled by the security, right? So like I've been in areas to where you're trying to like get on a lower seat, on a lower level, and they're just hanging out, they're just chilling, and people are blocking the aisles and stuff.
So, so here's the thing about it too, is like everybody had that idea that the aura of the Raiders was going to come to Vegas, and it feels like they just kind of erased that. Is that how you're saying that? I mean, they don't have this. I mean, they still got people that want to, you know, Raiders, but I mean, they don't come in and they're not like those
it's not
fans.
As rowdy. It's not as rowdy like Oakland.
Yeah, they're not those fans that are just like, okay, you put the bad name in the Raiders.
Yeah. No, I mean everybody's super cool. And I mean, I've sat on every single level over there, and it's been a great crowd.
I want to say one thing.
Mm-hmm.
You guys ever gone to California and you do those scratchers where you
scratch offs?
So my girl and we've gone to Prim.
Yeah,
we played the lottery. Well, there's somebody that hit 290. I think it was 292
at the same place where you went to go get it.
No. But there's so many people that go to California to play these games. They finally hit, you know. But are you guys those types of people that if it gets high enough, are you going to go wait in a line if it's like, you know, 2 or 3 hours to get that ticket? You're not going to do it.
No.
There's so many people that want to do that.
I just do it for the experience, right? But I don't wait for a certain number. If I'm out in California, I'm getting one of those things just to get it. You know what I mean? Just to try it. I mean, I went out to Texas and I got one of those and I won.
Did you really?
It was like $17. It was the mega bucks. And I think it cost me like $15 to get all the tickets. So the process of just getting the $17, right? They need the Social Security. They need this, right? And you
for
have to,
$17,
you have to claim it on your taxes.
Yes, you got to do all that, and we still haven't received the money yet. And it's been about like 3 months, and it's like, I think about all the people that is in my situation where they're like, you know what, just screw it, right? Well, I haven't screwed it because I turned in the paperwork, but
for $17,
for $17, right? So I haven't got the check yet. However, just imagine how much money is just sitting there where people are just like, dude, I'm not even gonna do it. It's a waste of time, right?
Yeah, but what if,
it's like those little like prepaid credit cards, right? And you got like 60, 70 cents on it, and you're like, whatever, and you toss it.
What about if the pot's like 5 million, or 10 million? You wouldn't go down there just to test it?
So I'm from Florida, so we have the Powerball.
Yeah.
Right. And I used to play that thing all the time. I'd spend like $200-300 and just get a stack of quick picks. Never have I won. So would I do it? Would I make the drive? No. I mean, think about your chances. I mean, look, somebody has to win or maybe not, but
I feel optimistic sometimes. I just got to do
You're optimistic?
Yeah, every once in 6 months.
Talking about being optimistic. I know you guys have your foot on the ground in the housing market, right? Today's topic is basically a housing market update and what's going on. And I want to start off with you, Dan. From the lending side, I mean, what's going on the lending side right now?
I think so there's 1 out of 5 people that are backing out of deals.
Okay. Is that what you're seeing from your side?
That's what I'm seeing.
Okay.
Okay. And what a lot of these people are backing out when they're in a contract, refi, whatever. Obviously, mortgage rates. That's got to be number one. Home affordability. I think you look at fear of the market. A lot of times there's problems with homes, right? If they had like repairs or something. And then it's just really, I don't know, man. I feel people are just waiting and they're just going to see what's going to happen with next year. And those are really the 4 things of why I see people backing out. But like right now, 1 out of 5 are backing out of deals. And it's not just with just me in general, because it is happening just like that with me. It's kind of ironic, but the data and the information, that's what's happening.
So why are they backing out from your deals?
Like
does it have to do with the rates?
Well, it's the rates, the payment,
or you're getting shopped. I mean, on the buying side, it's getting more competitive for you. Like what's going on that inside? You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't say it's just being shopped. I think you're always getting shopped. It doesn't matter if it's a good or bad market. I think it's really eye opening to people with the position that they're in right now. And there's the media out there, there's the fear, and we're at a high position for that right now. Rates are over 7%. And when you put that, and we've talked about it, you combine it, it's just pushing that. Now, if you're a first-time home buyer and you're naive to the market, it might be a different story. You might not, hey, you know what, I'm not going to really worry about all that. I'm just happy to get into a house. I want a fixed payment, But that's what I'm seeing. 1 out of 5 deals right now, not just with me, but it is happening with me and my team. But they're falling out. So
there was a list that came out out of the 50 states. They ranked the top 10 for cancellations. Jacksonville, Florida was at 26.1%. Las Vegas 23, Atlanta 22.6, Orlando 21, Phoenix 20, Tampa 20. So they're all about 20%, 21% cancellations.
There you go.
So I mean,
it's pretty close.
It's just not our market. It's happening everywhere.
Yeah.
But I think that I always look at the bright side. You know that. I just think that
they got a show about that too. So you should host that, The Bright Side, with Joey Andron.
Yeah, I mean, going back to being a first time home buyer, not ever being exposed to a 3% interest rate or 4.5 or 4.25, whatever the number is, you kind of just roll with it because you don't know. But I think there's a lot of benefit when you just roll with it as well. In my opinion, based on what I'm seeing out there in the market, and we were just having this conversation, and I know Pulte has a community up in SUMMERLIN that they're offering up to 6% towards your closing costs.
Wow, that's a lot.
That's a lot of money. So I mean, you can slice that up however you want. You can buy down the rate. You can cover your so a lot of out of pocket expenses when you're at a $600,000 average purchase price.
Yeah, and I think it's going to get even more. The incentives. I mean, I think we've just barely started. You know, as we always talk, it's probably going to get worse before it gets better, just because of the economy and what the Fed's doing right now. So, I mean, I think I've seen or heard that there's $40,000 in some builders. I mean, could they go higher than that? I mean, could you really get something where it's like incentives, like $50,000-$60,000 in incentives?
I'm sure, just depending on the market, right?
So when I worked for Woodside Homes and I was opening up the community just to really stimulate it, and this was in Summerlin, and we were up against all the other home builders, so we had to really, get some action. We were offering a $50,000 design center credit plus 2% towards closing costs.
but the homes there were like $800,000 all up to $1 million at that time.
Well, no. Our base prices were in the 550s, 600s.
Yeah, because you couldn't get away now for like 1.1 million in that neighborhood.
Yeah, but I mean, to answer your question, can they do it? Of course they can.
Well, I mean, that's still a low margin. It's less than 10%, right? So I mean, I guess there's that threshold, especially when these builders are charging lot premiums.
Right.
But also, I noticed this weekend when I went out with some clients, there were 2 new communities that popped up, and they do have a property which is, I like to call like a unicorn property. Okay, so there's a new community by TriPoint, and TriPoint is like the leading builders to build that modern style exterior type of home.
Yeah.
Especially at the price point for around the 500 range. So if somebody's interested in like that, you can't just buy that anywhere. Right. So they have this new community out on the north side, but the only incentives that they had was if you use their lender, you can get closing costs. But as far as the lot premiums, they weren't waiving the lot premiums. And also, I'm doing another deal right now out in the Southwest, right, by KB Homes. Mm-hmm. They do have lot premiums, but they're not waiving it. But they're willing to give incentives if you're using your lender, right, or their lender. However, I was having a conversation with the sales agent. I said, hey, how come you guys are not doing any incentives? Because the pricing is so low to the point where people are interested in buying the home. If you don't buy that home at the price point, somebody else will. So I feel like the pricing has gone down to the point where buyers can come on out, make a decision and options on what they can pick and choose. Then what happens is you'll start to get that shift, right? So that's what I'm seeing. However, there are some communities out there that the pricing is a little bit too high. Mm-hmm. They are sitting on the market and they are giving out incentives. So it's going to be a case-by-case basis, right?
Yeah.
There's not really one answer. It depends on the community, it depends on the price point of the home. And I think the price point is like the major thing when it comes to the housing market, right?
Yeah.
Especially on a downturn.
I think people are willing to spend, though, to a certain degree. But you can't, like I said, we talk about it, you can't get it with 7% rate. And I think that's what's pushing people out. Like maybe a first-time home buyer will come in, like I said, and what you're banking on, and you've said this before, is you're not married to the rate. And I think that's what people are looking at going, okay, yeah, you're right. Makes sense, right? We can refi. But then you get the fear, and then what if rates don't come back down to where they were at before? I think that's where all these people are like, well, I don't know if I want to do it. And I think that's some of the challenges, right?
Well, I don't think we're ever going to see 3% and 2.99. If we do, it's probably not going to be for a very long time. Would we come back down to 5?
I think that's where we're going to be, actually.
I mean, I saw Richmond American, they were offering 4.875 for FHA.
What I noticed, some of these builders, too, will do a 1-year lock, which is pretty impressive. However, you may be paying for that lock. That's the downfall.
Yeah.
And not even know it. So.
Well, think about it this way, too, right? So what happened, 4 or 5 months ago, or all last year, the frenzy of buyers in this market because they wanted to, one, they had fear of missing out, right? Prices were going up, interest rates were still low, but they were doing crazy things. I mean, we had clients that were paying $25,000, $30,000 above appraised value, right? So if you really look at that, and you're saying, okay, well, I'm going to buy a house at $600,000, but I'm actually paying $630,000 for it, and I'm covering all my closing costs. I'm not getting any incentives. What's a better situation? Buying now at a slightly higher interest rate, getting all those incentives.
Yeah.
Right. Like if you look at it as a case by case, like if you look at side by side, you compare those two, what's a better deal? Paying $30,000 above appraised value and not getting any incentives, or getting a lower price plus up to 6% on your closing costs.
Yeah.
I would go for today's market than the latter.
But also it really depends on the buyer's situation. Obviously, if you're buying an investment property, it doesn't make any sense. You might as well just be sitting on the sidelines with some cash and kind of see what's going on, right?
Yeah.
So again, it's really case-by-case basis. But if you are like a first-time home buyer, I guess the question is, should you buy a home now, or should you actually wait based upon what's going on with social media? So, I mean, that's the real question, right? But the way I always combat that situation is, well, it really just depends on your situation. Like, let me give you an example. Like, I had a lady call me today. She wants to get out of a deal that she's got like 12 grand into. All right. She's so far into the deal, she's probably going to lose that money. However, the market within that neighborhood dropped like $60,000. Mm-hmm. The home's not going to price. So she's probably going to come out of pocket. But I told her, look, you're so far into this contract, you're probably going to lose that EMD. So she's willing to wipe her hands clean, readjust, and possibly move into a condo with a lower payment and sit and wait. And the reason why she's going to do this is because she needs a place to live. She has to rent or she's going to have to buy. Mm-hmm. So her strategy now is, let me have a place where I can rest my head, have a lower payment, because I got to stay somewhere anyway. I got to spend the money regardless, right? So that's her strategy and that's her situation, right? So it's really a case-by-case basis. There's not like a one right answer. I have another client right now. They're liquid. They're buying a home cash, but they just want to reposition and they want to get out. But again, it's a case-by-case basis. Yeah. So there's not like you should buy now or, you should wait.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you always have to look at your financials and your situation, like you said. But, I always look at, we talked to so many people and so many conversations, and it's funny how things shifted so quickly, right? Just because of the interest rates, and then obviously prices have to come back down to, for affordability. But if you were looking at what people were doing, and I had people doing some crazy things just to get the money in order to afford the house, so now that you're in a position to where you have the upper hand as a buyer, and you can take advantage of these incentives and lower prices compared to just, a few months ago. I think you should really buyers, and I tell all of my clients this, look, make the decision, here's all the information. But if you're comparing where we were and we couldn't get a house for the past year to where we're at, I mean, we just have a lot of advantages.
So Joey, let me ask you this. Are buyers getting more incentives working with a builder versus a resale home?
That's a great question. So it's always going to be case by case, especially you just said Tri Point's not offering those incentives, but some home builders are. It really depends on the seller's motivation on a resale, if they want to sell their home or if they need to sell the home. Perfect example, I have some clients in the contract right now. The house was listed at $950. We got it for $833 plus 2% in closing costs, which is 17 grand.
Yeah.
Right. We had offers out on other homes, similar offer structure, and we got rejected.
Yeah.
But there's so much inventory on the market now that you can actually throw out some crazy offers and sometimes be pleasantly surprised. It takes a little bit of front end work, but
what I like about the sellers on the resale side in today's market, the properties that are on the market, that pretty much tells you majority of the sellers need to sell. So I originally went into contract on this home, and the original price was $650,000. I ran the comps. I knew it was $650,000. I had a conversation with the agent, built that rapport to find out what was the current situation of the seller. The seller was already under contract on a brand new home, and they were going to close in the next 45 days. I've noticed from past history, they start off at $720. They constantly reduce the price. What does that tell you? Motivation. Yep. Number two, the agent probably shouldn't have told me that, right? That's where he lost his leverage. So we went in at $610,000 and also asked for $10,000 towards closing costs. There were a couple things that was already wrong with the home by looking at it. My buyer was like, let's go ahead and ask for some things to be fixed too. I said, no, we're going to offer $610,000. We're going to ask for $10,000 towards closing costs, right? We're not going to ask for any repairs yet. Let's get this thing under contract. Let's drag them into the deeper waters. Then we can go ahead and negotiate it. So what happened was we got an appraisal done with that property. It actually appraised for $610,000. Oh, I'm sorry, $650,000, but we bought it for $610,000. So we made that $40,000 of equity right off the get-go. We got $10,000 worth of concessions. Then I went back and renegotiated some additional items to be fixed to the property. So we asked for probably like 10 things. 9 out of 10 things they actually repaired.
Nice.
So basically, that was a home run hit.
Yeah.
Because of the seller's motivation. So it was worth it to the buyer. So it's really a case-by-case basis, right? So the buyer, he was renting a property, and at the end of next month, he's got to be somewhere anyway. So if you're going to pay for higher rents in today's market, he's basically paying a couple $100 more for a property that has a pool that actually you have some sort of strip view, right, where it's open. So he was happy with it. So it was a win-win situation. Doesn't mean this all the time. I'm running across a situation right now. I have a property that's listed in the Northwest. Beautiful single-story home, 3 bedrooms with a pool. Everything else in there is selling for $600,000. We have all the upgrades, all the bells and whistles with the pool at $600,000. We have a bunch of showings, but it's not moving. However, my clients are not in a rush to sell, but we're testing the markets. But obviously, we want to sell, but we're not going to give it away. But we had an offer, but we didn't accept that offer because it was just way too low. So again, it's a case-by-case basis. Another story, I had a client out in the Southwest, and this is when the market is starting to go down. You can see this. The gentleman wanted $850,000. I said, look, we got an offer for right now, $820,000. Just take this offer. Didn't take the offer. Now we're at $790,000. I mean, that's a pretty big swing.
It is a big swing.
And now we're not getting any offers because the pricing has slid down pretty fast and pretty dramatic.
And when you get into that price point too, you have a lot of options.
Yes.
Especially with new homes. So
that's what makes it very challenging for a seller. So on the flip side, if you are a seller in today's market and you're at that price point, and that's where all your buyers are, right? What is it that what do you do, right? What are a couple things that you can do to make sure that your home stands out from the rest, that you get people into that door, and to get people to submit offers on your home? What are some of the things that you can share on the selling side? Some of these sellers that need help.
I mean, you really have to make your house ready. I mean, it has to be decluttered. It has to be freshly painted to some regard. I mean, it really has to show very, very well. If you walk into a home and you can basically see with the naked eye that there's, track marks on the carpet and there's, scuffed up paint and there's just a lot of wear and tear, your house is going to sit. You really want to make your house show like a model home. Take the personalization out of your home, take all the pictures off the wall, really turn it into a model home, because that's what's going to catch the buyer's attention.
Yeah.
And you really have to have the marketing set up right. You have to work with experienced real estate agents that understand the marketing, understand how to do social media, not just put it on the MLS to basically let it die on the vine. You have to have some agents that are really proactive and going to drive traffic within the real estate community, as well as get it in front of all the buyers that are in your market.
Great tips from Joey himself, and we're going to take a quick break with the sponsors. Does your house look like and have you been considering remodeling your home for some time now? Well, if you love real estate like I do and appreciate the attention to detail in the craftsmanship required to build a remodel or a gorgeous home, then I got the perfect company for you. Guys, I highly recommend Design Zone Remodeling. They are a stellar company that will turn your outdated home into your own personal sanctuary. They specialize in bathroom remodels, kitchen remodels, and full house remodels. Design Zone Remodeling has a reputation for excellent workmanship, competitive fees, and being able to offer a wide range of services and deliver the outstanding results to their clients. I use Design Zone Remodeling on my personal properties. Give Design Zone Remodeling a call today at 725-223-0871 or visit their website at designzoneremodeling.com to request a free consultation today. All right, and welcome back to the LV Home Experts podcast. If you're just tuning in, I'm your host, Chakits Krulsawat with Simply Vegas, your licensed real estate agent out here in Las Vegas, Nevada, with my co-host, Dan French with Guarantee Rate. So we were just talking about what's going on with the housing market on the buying side and also on the selling side. So you were mentioning, Joey, with the sellers, right? A couple tips and tricks on what they can do to improve more showings. Now, one thing that I've noticed is that a lot of these agents will just put the property on the MLS. Let me ask you this. Do you feel that by doing an open house is effective? Would you say yes or no?
It is effective. It's definitely effective in the first 2 weeks of listing the home.
Yeah.
Because it's going to trigger the MLS. You're going to put it on the MLS as an open house for those weekends, and everybody obviously wants to see, the new inventory, especially your neighbors. Mm-hmm. So definitely very, very effective.
Now, I know, Dan, that you've done a couple open houses with a bunch of real estate agents in your past career, right? Do you feel that open houses would be effective in today's market?
I don't know. I think there's so many things you can do online. I think it's a way for agents to obviously meet people and get leads. It's part of it.
I would say that's a big part of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it just depends on the market. I think today it's just there's a lot of properties.
Yeah.
Right? And here's the thing. You know how you go on to, I'll give you an example. You go on to like Netflix or you go on to like Amazon Prime and you want to watch something.
There's like so many damn options.
There's so many options.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, okay, maybe I'll watch it. Wait a second. That looks good too. And then that looks good too. And that's what's happening right now. So maybe open houses work on more of a balanced market.
Yeah.
But when you have so many properties in the market, it's hard because everybody's just being pulled in different directions. And there's only so many buyers out there right now.
You know what? He makes a very good point because everything is all online now. So that tells me that when somebody looks at a property, number one, the first and foremost, right, is how professional are these photos? What angle you are using to capture that attention, right? Mm-hmm. The second photo, what is the second, third, and the fourth photo, right? Because the attention span is like less than 8 seconds for the average American nowadays, thanks to TikTok, Instagram, and all that stuff. So I think that's a very important, but I also want to mention that nowadays, like social media, if you have a business and you are not on social media, you're literally cutting yourself short. And I think this is a big deal where if you list your property with an agent, do they have a social media page? How many followers do they have? How many views they have, right? And the reason why I'm saying this is because I am now to the point in my career where I have other agents and other sellers that have their properties already listed that they'll reach on out to me and ask me if I could do a collaboration some way, somehow to expose their property. So what I'm trying to say here is that you can't just go out and hire anybody and just have your property on the MLS because I don't think that's going to sell. You need more exposure, right? The more eyeballs that you have on your property, the better it is. You're going to drive more traffic to that house. The more traffic that you have, better chances of you getting an offer accepted.
Here's the statistics that you have to look at.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how many open houses you. I'm not saying they're not effective. It's just, I feel that it's, like I said, it's got to be the right dynamic.
Yeah.
But how many times do you actually get somebody that goes into an open house that actually buys that house?
Throughout my career, that has never happened to me, but let me flip this on the other side of the coin. Sometimes, right, people look at a home and can't really get that image. Sometimes they're stuck on the 1,500 square feet, but their search is at 1,800. You can literally do an open house where somebody goes there through online marketing, walk through the house, and realize the home is a lot bigger than it really is. So there are pros and cons, right? It's just from my experience from doing this now for 11 going on 12 years, I don't think I ever closed one deal where a buyer came in and said, hey, I want to buy this home. It's mostly, let me get your contact information, and I'm selling them another home because they're not interested in that home. So.
And I don't say that to call that situation out.
Well, you're not calling it out.
It's just, I mean, it's saying that when you do an open house, there's a reason for it. Yeah, you might be that neighbor that wants to know, or you might get lucky and get that person. It's just the majority of people that I talk to that are agents or have done open houses or whatever, they don't sell that house with that client And I don't know. I think they're effective, but I think they're only effective if you have a certain type of unicorn property.
Yeah.
And you're putting out like, hey man, we're going to have like some type of extra here, maybe, you know, or something that's just unique. But if you're going to do like a cookie cutter, everybody style home, everything's, you know, stack, you know, homes are right next to each other, I don't know how much you're going to get. Yeah.
Now, what are your thoughts, Joey?
No, I mean, I like to do open house like the first 2 weeks. First 2 weekends, do a Saturday and Sunday both. The last couple listings that I had, we did open houses, and we actually had interested buyers.
Okay. So they do work.
They do work, you know, and again, you know, you get those nosy neighbors, but a lot of people like to, you know, if there's an opening in the neighborhood, and they like to have family that lives close.
Yeah.
You know, so the
That's a good
daughter,
point.
the mother. So look, it's just about getting interest and getting the house out there, because you never know, right?
Yeah.
You might get that one person that walks through and they're like, I want to buy it right now. Write up the offer on the kitchen counter.
Now,
you might. That's the purpose of it, right?
Now,
You
I
have a
do
duty
want to
your seller.
disclose this. Here at Simply Vegas, the CKG group, we will also do an open house. I just want to clarify this. If you're asking us to do an open house, we will do an open house. So don't think we won't do it. But I just wanted to share this information because I think this is very important, because I've picked up listings and the sellers had asked me, hey, will you do an open house? We believe it's effective. But at the end of the day, you have to be upfront and honest, right, how things work, because everything's all online nowadays, right? If somebody sees something that they like, they're going to go take a look at it.
We do property tours anyways.
Yeah.
Right?
So
it's just,
I mean, you, exactly, or 3D tours too as well. So we always, you know, have links where you can literally walk through the property yourself. Mm-hmm. Now, single family residents, it says here as of today, we have 7,812 properties currently on the market. The average list in the last 7 days was 460,000. The closing was 450,000. We went from 445, now we are at 450, at $246 a square foot, right? And what you get is roughly about 1,882 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms. The average days on the market, what do you think the average days on the market right now is for a home? Anybody?
23 days.
25.
All right, you guys are wrong. However, the price is right. So Joey's close, 28 days. Now, on the selling side, right, sellers will get very frustrated, I've noticed, in today's market, because like I mentioned before, early on in the show, the sellers that are selling their home, they need to sell. There's a difference versus wanting to sell. There's a majority of them that they need to sell. That's why they have their home in today's market, right? Some of the sellers will get frustrated because before you could slap your home on the market within 24 hours, multiple offers.
Right.
28 days is still a very healthy market. 60 and even 90 days is a very healthy market. All right.
Yep.
So this is something that sellers also have to understand, that if your home doesn't sell within 30 days, right, you can't fire the agent, or you can't be mad at the agent, right? If the agent is doing what needs to be done, they're marketing it correctly, they're having people coming in, but there's no offers, what does that tell you? That means the agent is doing what he or she agreed with the seller. That just comes down to the price. And that's what it comes down to in today's market.
That's right, because I mean, if anything's priced right, it sells.
Yes.
I want to say something, and not to go off topic where we're all down this other
York,
direction.
if you're watching this, come in and do some B-roll, please.
So
go ahead.
Days on the, not days on, month supply.
Yeah.
How do they come up with the month supply? Like, where does the 3.2, and I always like, I'm looking at all this data and I'm looking at this, I'm like, so where is this algorithm or this data that says we have 3.5?
So you take 4 weeks, right, of what is selling. You take the total of how much we have and you divide it, and it tells you exactly how many months you'll sell. Does that make sense? So let's just say you sell 4,000 a month, but you have 12,000. So that's a 3-month supply. So what happens is, if you had no more homes on the property, you had 12,000 homes. It would take you 3 months because you're selling every month 4,000 homes.
But how accurate is it? Is what I'm saying. Like, because I mean, it's such a moving target, right? And then for how that, I don't know. That's just
well. Here's the thing. That's why we pull this number for the last 7 days. I don't do 30 days.
Okay.
That's why I do it within a short time frame, because the numbers that I provide you today is the numbers today, right?
There you go.
You could do 30 days, But we don't know what's really going on in 30 days because some homes will sell at 430, some may sell at 450.
That's my argument.
So that's why I do 7 days, and that's the best way to do this, right?
Okay.
So let's move on to townhomes. If you can't, I'm sorry, we're going to move on to condos. I don't know why this is condos right now. It should have been townhomes. But condos, 1,093 properties currently active on today's market. Okay. The list price for the last 7 days was $239,500. You get a $3,000 discount. They're actually selling at $236,500 with average days on the market 27 days, which is really good.
That's really good for condos.
Yes. This kind of sucks for me because I bought a condo, and you guys know, if you check out our second channel, I'm going through this right now. Bought it for $200,000, and everything was going for like, $260,000. Now it's worth like $240,000. I got it on the market, can't sell it. Now I got to rehab it. So I'm rehabbing a property just to break even. But that's just a part of real estate investing.
Yeah.
I would rather break even.
Yeah, you don't want to go backwards.
Yeah. Break even, shoot some content. You know what? I may make a few bucks. It just depends on once it's done and also the timing of the market. The good news here is that things are kind of holding off. Like we literally, for the past, 90 days, things just backslid so fast. But now everything's kind of like slowing down. It's almost like somebody's pulling the lever like, hold on for a second. So we are still at that 4% margin from an all-time high. Now, by the time we come towards the end of the year, we know that we have another Fed funds meeting next month. Rates will probably end up going up because rates are at 8.3, and that's not slowing down anytime soon. We're coming into the winter months, but I'm actually very curious to see what's going to happen when summer hits, because when school gets out, what happens? Yeah. That's like the hottest months for real estate agents, right? Yeah. So only time will tell.
I don't know. What do you think they're going to do? You think they're going to bump the rates again?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Inflation's just still bad. I mean, the Fed was way off on the inflation numbers of what they thought it would be, completely off. Our economy, the growth of the economy, way off. They said it was going to be like 1.7%.
Thanks, York. Appreciate it.
And it's only like 0.3. So here's where we're at. You have the employment numbers and the unemployment low where it's holding strong. That's the last domino. And I think if you start to see where they raise it again and then they raise it again in December, I think we're going to keep going down. I think we're holding strong because things just kind of like settled for a second, but it's not final. We're not where we need to be.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of uncertainty. I think the Fed was completely off on everything that they were trying to accomplish, and they're still trying to figure it out.
They just got this thing started way too late.
I think
it was already way out of control, and then they try to rope the wind.
I don't think they knew exactly the magnitude of what happened. I think it was like, oh, we'll just do this. And look, we're not all economists here. We're just trying to say, look, we see what's going on, but I can tell you that it just feels like they as much as they want to go out in the public and say, well, this is what's happening, they don't really know what's happening. They're just trying to make adjustments on the fly. Mm-hmm. And I think for Vegas, when we're at 450, it's because you've now have a little bit of more buyers coming into the market, kind of holding pat, right? But staying pat on trying to buy. But I think that if we see the unemployment numbers go up, you see that increasing, and you see rates continue to go up 7-8%. I think we may get down to 415, 420 being the average median price home.
And I hope we don't get the 8%.
I think it's going to happen.
You think it's going to go 8% next year?
I do. Well, it might even be at the end of the year.
This thing may even go to 8.5% because it definitely has to slow everything down, because if you have inflation running rampant, dude, this country's going out of control. That's a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
Because once you start going into inflation, hyperinflation, or even stagflation, oh my gosh. Yeah. Nothing moves, but everything gets more expensive.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I could say, and I'm not going to go, I just want to bring this up because I don't have a ton of things to talk about with lending, but the Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac is going to be raising. Fannie Mae's already done it.
I thought they were at 715 already.
Well, a lot of lenders are taking that sooner than
when
they promote
really?
Yeah, it's supposed to be January 1, right?
It's supposed to be January, but they were going to introduce it in November. Typically, that's when they do it, like middle, late November. They're starting to do it now. And, it's interesting, though, because we're in a declining market here, yet they're increasing the amount you can buy.
Because so that way they can ramp more buyers to come back into the marketplace.
Well, I mean, but if you're not buying, you're not buying. I mean, if you're, like you said, if you, there's a reason to buy if you need a home.
Well, let's backstep for that for a second, because everybody thinks the market here is like shitty, but there's a lot of buyers, believe it or not.
Yeah. There's
a lot of buyers. We have a lot of contracts. I mean, we're selling a lot of homes. It's not as crazy how it was 9 months ago. We would do 20 transactions a month. Now we're doing probably about 8 transactions a month, right? Anywhere from 8 to 12, which is still great. I mean,
yeah, I don't think we're ever going to like not have buyers. I'm just saying it's the confidence.
Yeah.
Right? It's the confidence in what, like, Joey needed a house because he wanted a place for his family. I need a house because you need a place for your family. Do you need a house, like you said, or do you want it? There's a big difference there.
Yeah.
And I think that's really the buyers that's out there, like you said. And 715, yeah, I mean, it's cool. I mean, it helps for sure. It's going to maybe entice. I just don't know. I don't know what that's really going to do, I guess. If we were in an accelerating market and it was like there was a need for it and we had that influx of buyers out there.
Yeah, that would make sense.
That would make more sense. And I would just say, well, maybe we just keep it the same. Why increase it?
Well, they probably increased it so that way the people that are buying at that price point, anything above that becomes a jumbo loan, right? And your rates are higher. That's probably the reason why they did that.
Probably rates.
Yes.
Rates driven. That's the only thing I could think of is 715 because rates are high that you may, but again, think about it. If your rate is still 8% and you're buying a $700,000 house, what is that payment? Right? You're not going to get that higher rate on a jumbo loan, but still,
it's like $6,500 probably.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, it wouldn't be that high, but it would be pretty dang high. It'd be like $4,500, $4,000. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's just, I think if it was me, I would have just said, look, we need to just wipe this one out. Not even consider moving it up. I would even consider bringing it down a little bit, just because that would actually, maybe kind of hold off the economy a little bit, because nobody knows what's going to happen.
So as a buyer that does have cash, let's say $100,000, would it be best to put down 5%, 10%, or 20%? Like, how much should I put down if I'm interested in buying a home?
I guess that really comes down to affordability and monthly payment.
Like, how do you determine that, Dan? You know what I mean? Because I'm just asking you, like, if you had $100,000, right? You're going to buy a home. But do you want to liquidate all your funds? Or should you just put down 5% with a higher mortgage insurance premium?
If I'm older and I'm on a fixed payment, just myself or whoever, I'm going to probably put 20% down. Am I going to put all of it down? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep money. You can make an argument that if you look at an FHA loan, which is more lenient, has better rates typically for a conventional loan.
Yeah.
Even though you have mortgage insurance, sometimes having that mortgage insurance is still a lower payment. You can make an argument, right? So I think it really comes down to, for me, I'm not going to sink money into a house.
Yeah.
Unless I have to, because I can't get that money out.
So you're saying less is better, just in case if, things hit the fan. It's a lot easier to walk away with $7,000 cash out of pocket versus $100,000.
If you can afford the payment.
Yeah.
Like Joey said.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you can afford the payment, yes, I would do that. Because you can diversify other ways. And you don't have to just sit there and be like, oh, okay, I got all my money in this house, For me, I mean, I think if you can put down, because like people always say, well, I'm going to put down 10%. Okay, you're going to still have mortgage insurance. Your rate might be slightly better, maybe not in this market, but it's either, in my opinion, it's either you put down 3 to 5 or you put down 20, and that's it.
Do you guys think
the 10 is just like an extra?
It's just it doesn't really move
the needle on the payment either.
No, it doesn't. And that's the thing. It's like, why? I mean, so you're putting that extra 5% into something, and it doesn't really do that much for you.
Joey, can you talk into the mic a little bit more? So at 8.5%, do you think that's going to be like that turnaround where the market is going to slow down the Las Vegas housing market?
Are you asking me or
any one of you guys?
I think
opinion.
I just think I think we have more room to go up on the rate.
Yeah,
doesn't mean we're going to settle there, but
I mean, what is that barometer? Is it that 8.5 that we were talking about earlier?
I think it could go to. I think it's going to go to possibly 9.
Yeah.
9%.
9%.
Dude.
So would you say that
Dan,
it's a good time to buy?
Stop that. Because here's the thing. Every time he keeps going up on rate, you should see the look on Joey's face. He's like hyperventilating right now.
Hey, I'm just saying, because look, we're not there.
I'm going to go strip at one of the nightclubs. I'm getting out of real estate.
Hey, OnlyFans, I told you about that today, bro.
That's
OnlyFans,
exactly what I'm doing.
Yes.
I mean, look, is it going to stay there? No, but I think that you got to think that we're probably about 30%, maybe 40% of where we could potentially end up if inflation doesn't get in check.
So is the Fed's fund target rate still at 2% or 2.5%? Where are they at with that? Has that been adjusted?
3 to 3.25.
So they adjusted down all the way up to 3.25?
3 to 3.25 right now.
Oh, that's crazy.
Now, understand though, that's short-term bonds. But what it really comes down to is investors, geopolitical news, employment, confidence in the economy, all these things, right? So
short-term bonds does affect confidence. Keep that in mind. And that's where your spending power is.
And I think that's where people get that misconception is that's actually part of it.
Yes.
So again, I think that, I mean, we can see it go to 8.5%, 9%.
Well,
because
understand that I'm going to say probably about 85% of Americans, their portfolio rich means the stock market, right, is good. So as they increase the rates, what happens is people get paranoid, they don't spend money. And what happens is that stocks that they have drops. And once that starts to drop, what tends to happen? They get paranoid and they save. So I want to say it's a big part, but not really a big part. Psychologically, it is.
It's a huge part. Plus, people, like you said, they're going to start to save, and that's what the Fed wants to do, right? And so, I was reading something the other day, and they were saying, it's probably, I mean, everybody says it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better, but Fannie Mae's come out and stated that we're probably going to be obviously in a modest recession into next year, that we're going to continue to decline in prices, and that they don't see it changing, and there's a mass exodus of lenders and realtors. So not to try to be all like bad, but it's just, we have to be real too. Like,
let's talk the truth, because that's what this is about.
We're probably 40% of where we're probably gonna end up if it keeps going. Like, okay, so if it comes back and all of a sudden we see inflation's in check and some miraculous thing happens, well, then maybe we have a different discussion. If things don't change and the next meeting it's the same, we're going to 9%.
Damn, you went from 8.2, 8.5, now you're at 9%. However, I don't think we're going to be at 9% by the end of the year, right? Because we have one more meeting or two more meetings, okay? So where are we at?
They've already projected 75 basis points
with another two times,
another 50 in December, and in February another quarter. What they're saying is this whole thing's going to kind of like the summer of next year. It's going to kind of settle off, and I think that's when you're going to see rates come down. And it's going to be interesting because they're trying to get a lot of their debt off the books too. The Fed is, right? They're selling off these bonds that they purchased for the last few years. So are they going to go back into buying those bonds again, right? To bring the economy back. So it's like they need, they might need to get that heart pumping again,
Sure.
So we'll see what happens, but I think 9%.
Seems like you're pretty much lost for words, Joey.
I'm shocked.
Joey's gonna
you want to know what sucks about that?
Ping-ponging over here. I'm like watching tennis.
I know. You want to know what sucks is if this does happen, which is I really think it's going to happen. What sucks is you're not going to have that much business. You're not going to have that much business. This also affects myself. We're not going to have that much business. So there's a catch-22, right? I mean, how high can you go up to the point where nobody can afford anything, but then you got to slow things down. You slow things down, now you're no longer making any money.
Right. Well, I mean, it goes off of many industries, right?
Yes.
Lenders, mortgage brokers, title.
I mean,
insurance companies. It affects everybody.
The Fed's in uncharted waters. They can't pull the right things now because, like I said,
they used to.
Well,
they could used to pull that lever and adjust.
They didn't flood the markets though over a course of a year.
Well, you couldn't flood the market because that's helicopter money. Once you dump so much money like that,
it's a hard position to pull back. And I think that's what I'm trying to say is to pull the economy back. It's going to be a challenge. It's not going to be easy, and I don't think they really know how to do it. They don't have. They say they do, and they want to put it out there that they do. All the data says that they're doing whatever they say is the exact opposite of what's happening.
So any final words, Joey, that you want to share with somebody out there if they are planning on purchasing a home, what they should do, the things that they should be looking out for?
Well, I would say give us a call.
Yes.
We love sitting down with all of our clients to do a buyer consultation. We look at all of the data, we pull all the financials, and we really try to figure out what would be the best course of action if you're deciding to purchase a home. So we look at all factors.
And Dan, final thoughts, financing, any loan programs, anything out there that you want to share?
Be ready for 9%.
Guys, I really do appreciate each and every one of you guys for tuning in to the LV Home Experts podcast. We definitely would love the opportunity to earn your business. If you guys have not had a chance to follow us on our second channel, Chakits 2.0, and also follow us on Instagram too as well. Other than that, until next time, and have a blessed day. Peace. Does your house look like and have you been considering remodeling your home for some time now? Well, if you love real estate like I do and appreciate the attention to detail in the craftsmanship required to build a remodel or a gorgeous home, then I got the perfect company for you. Guys, I highly recommend Design Zone Remodeling. They are a stellar company that will turn your outdated home into your own personal sanctuary. They specialize in bathroom remodels, kitchen remodels, and full house remodels. Design Zone Remodeling has a reputation for excellent workmanship, competitive fees, and being able to offer a wide range of services and deliver the outstanding results to their clients. I use Design Zone Remodeling on my personal properties. Give Design Zone Remodeling a call today at 725-223-0871 or visit their webzone remodeling.com to request a free consultation today.